Hello guys. Today we're at the Gallery Podcast Studio. We've got a special today with Tammi and Sian. I'm going to start off with Sian. Could you introduce yourself for the audience, please?
Yeah, hi, I'm Sian and I run Sian News Photography. So I am a multi-genre photographer, predominantly specialising in children, but also in weddings.
Excellent. And Tammi, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Tammi and I am the manager of the gallery weddings and events here in Broad Street.
Excellent, excellent. So I understand you wanted to come on to essentially promote is it a business night that you guys want? But it's going to be like a female only. Am I correct there?
Yes.
Yeah. Go on, elaborate for me. What is it?
So what we're hoping to do is on the 25th of September at 5:30, we're going to be offering a free safe space for women to come together, for women in business, to form a network because we want to support other women in business in our area in a safe way that is not about promoting but also not about membership. It's not going to cost you any money.
Okay, wicked. And if I was a woman, what could I look to expect if I came to one of these nights?
So what we're hoping to do is to support each other and give a safe space for women to talk about some of the problems that may be facing, but not about solutions. So it could be a place where people can get advice on something, because there are lots of different businesses in our area in the Vale, especially in Barry, that you may be able to kind of get some pearls of wisdom from. Because what I've noticed, and one of the reasons why myself and Sian started to talk about it, is being a founder, but being a woman only in business, is if you are the only person within that business, it can be quite lonely. And my family and my friends are amazing at what they do, but I can already see the moment that I've opened my mouth when I'm having a bad day, that they want to give me solutions. And sometimes I just need that safe space to go, do you know what, today's been tough.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I think you've covered everything pretty succinctly there. But as a female business owner who works predominantly on my own, it can be really lonely. You can come against loads of challenges. And sometimes it is just really nice to have a safe space with people that you're not particularly connected to, and that they're not family or friends who aren't going to judge you. And they might be able to offer advice, but also they'll be happy just to sit and let you vent about what you need to vent about that day.
So what were you looking to are you looking to sort of reveal like common issues amongst the community, essentially, of women in business? What's the sort of purpose here of it, basically? What's the purpose of the night?
Well, the purpose is to meet monthly, and it's to give an opportunity for to come together for women in a way that they're able to talk about some of the things and challenges that's going on in their lives. But more importantly, it's not about competitiveness. So it's in a safe way of saying, so perhaps it might be easy if I give you a kind of issue. So one of the things that I knew when I first set up the gallery is how do you have a support service based in the community for the community, but still be compliant with EHO, so environmental health. How do you have people who work with you with lived experience with anxiety and challenges, but you've still got to be compliant with compliancy? How do you battle that? Now, there are lots of successful models of other organisations that have done it. You know, charities like Mind. You've got Cafe Number 5 around the corner as well. But as a chief exec, I didn't know, where do you start? So how do you put policies in place to support people with lived experience, but you still got to be compliant? How do you Google that? And unless you've had that experience of talking to other businesses and say, so how did you do this? And it's about sharing that knowledge in a safe way. But I think there are so many people out there that can be there could be some issues where people may not want to come together to share ideas because it may be that they're very protective of their business. So, I've noticed quite a lot of posts on Facebook where there's been some female-led businesses out there that have been posting about their struggles. One, I would imagine that one of the reasons why they've posted things like that on Facebook because they may be at the end of their tether, or because that's the only way that they can vent. But is that a safe space for it to be in public? Now,
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting at any point that it's not a safe way, but what does that look like to your customers? What does that look like to the public and to everybody else? I'm not saying I have the solutions, but what I do know is that if I see posts like that, I swipe past. I don't read them, mainly because I'm a woman in business and I've got my own problems. So it's almost like, it's not that I've run out of empathy. It's just that, do I really need to read that post at the moment? But actually, we all need to come together to kind of look at how do we support each other. So the idea of coming together as a network to address some of that is to get people to come together in a safe way, not competitive, not about solving problems, but if you've got something you'd like to discuss or share or knowledge base. I was very, very fortunate that I had a lot of mentors when I set up Cube and the gallery. Big shout out to a lot of the female-led women that helped and supported me. But I was very, very lucky. So I would like to be able to, Cube has existed now for 6 years. The pitfalls of running a third sector and social enterprise, the knowledge that I've gleaned. I've learnt more about being in business by when things have gone wrong than it has when things have been successful. So I would like an opportunity really to pass on some of that knowledge if it's warranted. So if people want that information or if people do need that support, I'm quite happy to share that, but not in a way we're going, well, you think you got that problem, love, you want, this is what I did to resolve it. That's not what it's about. It's offering that mentorship as well to other women in business if they want to. But more importantly, it's just an opportunity to have a cup of coffee.
So am I right in basically collecting from that the people who stand to gain the most from these nights are going to be people new to business, essentially. So they'll get like a knowledge leg up in a way. Would you say that, or would you say other businesses like yourself, or like yourselves rather, are
Yes, and everything. So if you think about it, the opportunities are there. So competency means you don't know you're getting it wrong. And it's a bit like having BO. If you have BO, you don't.
Starting to sweat
No,
now.
can you see? Well, nobody knows you have BO unless someone says you stink. But I don't. That's what I'm joking about. But there is a gentle way of saying it. You don't know when you're going wrong until things really go wrong in business. And sometimes when it really goes wrong,
that's when people are telling you
it's gone wrong. And sometimes you need to be able to navigate it before it hits. Now, there's a country and western singer singing how badly I've got things wrong. Even down to how, hiring staff, to having how many people with lived experience can share a safe space to support each other in a business without having an effect on the business. And no, you don't get taught this. There's no manual out there. I didn't wake up one day and set up Cube and the gallery knowing everything that I was going to learn. They don't tell you as a chief exec and as a woman owning business that one day you're sweeping the floors and the next minute you're dealing with HR issues or a complaint or the phone rings.
It's like the full spectrum of problems you have to deal with, isn't it? From the lowest to the top, essentially.
And you're on your own. And you're sitting there sometimes. And I remember I hit a crossroads about 4 years ago when something had happened and it went wrong. And I remember being on the phone to protect. I need to be very careful. So I had to phone ACAS on an employment issue because I had a member of staff who I was really concerned about, but it was having a massive impact in terms of our business. So we had to look at a way about how can we support that person to perhaps work somewhere else. And one of the things that they don't tell you as a chief exec and being a woman only in business is that you learn so much when things go wrong that sometimes you don't even see them come in. I mean, I didn't. And there have been times that have been really tough where I remember sitting outside in my car going, it would be so much easier to hand in the keys. But then that's that realization in the pit in your stomach, who would I hand the keys to? You know, and I think sometimes it would have been nice, and perhaps, you know, this purpose is for me as well, is, you know, I looked at what would I need from a women's network? What would I need to be able to take an hour a month out of my time? And one of the things that I need from this really is to have that hive mind, that group mind, where there may be at some point I can support somebody else not to make the same mistakes that I made, but more importantly, to pass on that wisdom, but also to have that wisdom passed on to me. And that's the purpose. It's not about selling. It's not about having a membership. It's not about competing with other women in business. But I think men are very good at collectively getting together to get things done, where women will often think about themselves the last thing that they think about. So I'm just pushing forward to give that space for an hour once a month for women to come together that are able to talk about some of the things that they're dealing with, but also if they want to have some advice, they can have it, but it's not, you know, it's not unwarranted advice. So we're not going to sit there and pull everything apart and say, well, you should be doing X, Y, and Z.
Okay, so may I ask, what are some of the specific, or what are some of the challenges that women have in business that I would say, you know, make the path more difficult for them as opposed to maybe the partner in relationship or the man, essentially?
I think for a lot of women who are running households, then that dynamic of juggling your work-life balance with get the school run, cooking, not to say that there aren't men that aren't doing that as well, but we're still, I think, kind of at this point where it is more of a women-dominated role. So kind of that dynamic, I think, is more challenging for women of a certain age in life. Hitting perimenopause, menopause, dealing with issues while you're having a hot flush is not fun. So yeah, I think that's probably kind of where the biggest difference would come in. And as Tammy said, women very often put themselves on the back foot, so make sure that everyone else is taken care of before making sure that actually they're okay. If I can just come back to the bit that you said about this being for startup businesses, I think this is going to be great for people at any stage of a business. So I've been in business for 16 years, but I still do training. The way that social media works is changing. The introduction of AI is really changing things as well. And like it or not, I think that's going to be a really big factor. So I think discussing things with that, helping people get around that, because a lot of people, I think, get stuck in a rut. I do it from time to time, and then I realize I'm coasting and I need to go and do something else just to push myself out of that comfort zone. And then also, I think identifying problems across various genres of business as well. So I understand what the market is like in newborn and wedding photography at the moment. I don't know what it's like for wedding florists. I don't know what it's like for jewelers. So I think if people could come together and go, well, actually, this is what we're experiencing right now, to have somebody else go, well, we've got that in this sector too, might be quite reassuring. Because I don't think everyone wants to put it on social media, because business owners tend to be, I'm really busy right now, I've got all of this work going on, when they haven't. It's just to make themselves look busy. So to have a safe space where they can come and go, this is what's going on, without that going any further, I think will be really helpful.
No, it sounds brilliant. Yeah, no, I think I sort of get what it is now. So basically, it's like if you're facing frustration in the workplace or your business, rather than going online and making your views publicly known, it's a chance for you all to get together, vocalize with the same sort of emotion, the issues that you're having, but it's not going anywhere, essentially. And it also gives you a chance to either hear yourself and realize how potentially stupid you sound, or it's a chance to, you know, resonate with some other people who are having similar issues.
We are a social species as well. So I can often get overwhelmed by being around people for too long, but we still crave human contact. And I think we are becoming more insular and spending more time alone. So I think just to give people the opportunity to come together, even if not that much business gets talked about, even if it's, I think basically it's just a good way of forming a sisterhood. That's what I would describe it as, really.
Oh, cool.
There are loads of of other sisterhood type networks out there, but they're about being social and the social aspect of it. And then you've got Women in Business Networks, which is about your particular business area. There is nothing that, especially I'm saying that what we have noticed, there may be some out there, but I don't know that they exist. But as far as I can see, and the need that we've identified in Barry and the Vale of Glamorgan, is there's a need for women to come together in a safe space once a month to share ideas, to talk about some of the common issues that they're facing, but also to be in a way where we could learn from each other, and in a non-competitive way, they're able to be about promoting each other. And a good also a way is there are loads of women in business out there. I don't know. And there may be an opportunity for me to connect with.
So it's a great networking
a good
opportunity
networking
as well.
opportunity, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it could be that somewhere that within that network, somebody is using a new technology and share their experiences. So there could be an opportunity to kind of do an in focus afternoon where we could say, actually, do you know what?
This is how I'm using AI.
This is how I'm
do
using
X, Y, Z.
so things like I am really old school. Please forgive me. There are many other social networks out there. I only use Facebook and Instagram. I don't know how TikTok works. I've tried to get to know about it. And one of the things that I'm very interested in is, again, I'm showing my age. By the time I get round to being interested and thinking, oh, I need to be on TikTok, or I need to be doing X, Y, and Z, that's old hat. That technology is gone, and people have moved on to something else. I've only now got onto Instagram and Facebook because I understand it more. Actually, the people who want to reach us in terms of a business are using Pinterest, are using other networks,
LinkedIn,
and LinkedIn and other things as well. And you're thinking to yourself, so for me as a business, by the time I understand that technology, it's already passed. That moment's already passed. So how amazing would it be? Is I'm sure that you can have the opportunity and say, well, do you know what? I'm using Pinterest. This is what I found helpful. Would that be interested for anybody else to hear? And it may be that it gets discussed in the network, or actually it might be to say, do you know what? Tell me more about that Pinterest thing. How do you work on it? I was really interested when you talked about using Google and AI. Have you got half an hour we can have a chat to? And you could either talk about that in that network that you've got there, or you could stay behind, or more importantly, you're making those connections. And we talked about being social animals and being isolated. I know come winter time, I'll go home come 7:00, my door's closed and I don't leave the house. So, because I'm a creature of habit, because I spend a lot of my time in work being so focused on being with people, by 7:00 at night, I want to be on my own. But I still crave that attention of wanting to be with other people. So I just think it's a great opportunity for people to come together.
And just touching on the AI point you made, I met somebody recently during this whole podcasting shenanigans that I've been doing. And I was really surprised how people are so ready and willing to share how they use it as a tool. So like I met Danielle from Third Sector podcast that we did. And she gave me loads of tips and hints and how she uses it. And I was just like, wow. Because it's simple tricks, basically. But it can produce really effective results from what she was telling me.
I've built pages for my website using, I want it to look like this. Now, I kind of understand source coding, so I can get
source coding.
So how I get it onto my website. So I use Zenfolio, which has that uses iframe source coding. So it goes on to another site called Netlify. So basically, Claude makes me the website. This is what I want. Well, not the website, the source code to go into the website, so it's embeddable. So I tell Claude what I want. I want these pictures. I want this writing. So it's still all my own work. Claude's just putting it together in a nice way for
It's
me.
replaced the website designer, essentially, is it? Or
Yeah, I mean, I did do my own anyway, and a lot of photographers do rather than hand it over to somebody else, although I know lots of photographers who just send all their stuff. But if I want to keep it updated, it's just easier for me to do. So I've learned so much through doing that. But then on the other side that we have for consumers is that eventually we're going to, and we are getting there, is to agentic AI. So you will ask AI for something. I want to buy this. It will say, this is what's available. This is probably what you're looking for. Do you want to add it to your shopping basket? And you'll just click it and you will have bought it. So I think that is the way.
awesome.
That
So,
is the way we're
and these are the
going.
sort of lessons. If people came to this women's business network, these are the sort of lessons
Yeah.
people would learn.
Yeah.
Essentially,
So
You never
this is it's gone with me because I don't understand it.
No,
But for somebody
yeah.
engaging in a similar sort of thing, it might
Yeah.
make a lot
Yeah.
of sense, and they'd be like, "Oh,
Because interestingly, I don't know whether this is the same across other businesses, but people that come to your business, certainly for photographers, via the website, have a higher spend than people who come via social media. So as much as people are kind of buying from Pinterest, buying from TikTok, and that's kind of a generational thing, the people who are spending the bigger amounts of money are coming from websites. So it's still important that people don't overlook their websites and their branding and making sure that everything is like cohesive with that as well. So yeah, just keeping up to date with things, and things change so quickly. Like I learn stuff all the time. And think, oh gosh, actually, I didn't know that, or that's a new thing that nobody's known until now. So I think it will be really helpful for people to say, actually, did you know about this, that you can use this to do that? And then as much as I know there is a pushback against AI, and I completely understand it, and as a creative, I completely understand that in some places it is really worrying. Like people say, is it going to replace photographers? No, it isn't, because you can't build a relationship with an AI chatbot that's not going to be able to take pictures for you. You can give it a picture to work from, but it's not going to create you a family picture that's actually yours. But I think it is really important to learn about it because it is going to be here to stay. So yeah,
and it's only going to develop.
It's already gone so fast. Like Mid-Journey, from where it was a couple of years ago to where it is now, is terrifyingly good. It was not great to begin with.
Do you remember seeing people eat? It was like, I remember one of the first AI videos that come out was like Will Smith eating like pasta
Yeah.
or something like that, and it was like all these like sort of repetitions of the same thing would come out, and it was just so unrealistic. Basically, he'd be like, he'd put this pasta in his mouth, but then like not a proportionate amount of pasta would then fall out of his mouth, if you know what I mean. He put like a couple of strands in there, and like a whole bowl would fall out of his mouth, or his cheek would be like a hamster. There was loads, and like he'd have 6 fingers and stuff like that.
It still struggles with fingers and hands.
But it's got so much better at the same time, because sometimes you see stuff and it looks like footage from about 10 years ago, and it's an AI video, but you can't tell the difference. It's that slightly pixelated look to it.
So I'm going to overshare a little bit. So my mother is 73. And my mother is more up to date with technology than I am. Remember I said earlier on about only catching up with technology. I love Linda. Everyone who loves Linda. My mother is now, she watches Korean soaps. And she loves
that Korean stuff's amazing, by the way.
So she was I don't know who these Korean pop stars are. There are many of them. My mother has been following them for 10 years. Also, all these Korean soaps and everything else. She, for the last couple of years, has been watching AI generated soaps.
Oh, wow.
And she has been watching
Hunger Games.
No, the Demon Hunters.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
K-pop Demon Hunters, and she's been watching them for years before they became popular. And she says, "Oh, you need to be watching this, and you need to be having a look at this. It's the next best thing."
They've got an amazing animation style.
Yeah.
Their song is AI.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we're pretty sure it is. One of my friends is in musical theatre, or was, and he said that is AI because it is unlike anything that's ever existed.
There's so much auto-tune in there, though. it can be quite hard to distinguish. I listen to.
I used it to write as well. I wrote lyrics, and then somebody said put it into this app, and it will turn it into a song. So I have a song that sounds like only men allowed to sing in it, and it is mind blowing.
Yeah. So these are the things that we've just spent 10 minutes chatting about. That is in an open conversation, saying, "Well, have you noticed this and everything else?" And all of us, I've learned something. You've learned something. We've learned something that we didn't know this morning. And I think that is the purpose of it. It's not a selling. It's not about coming together and saying the world is a dangerous place and don't leave the house. It really is an opportunity to bring other women together, to support each other in a business. And let's be honest, it's hard out there. We're in a cost of living crisis. And we're all juggling everything else. And sometimes it is tough. It's tough coming into work. It's tough dealing with your day to day. And sometimes wouldn't it be a good way of just going, do you know what? Today's been tough. How have you found it?
But also on the flip side, I think it would be nice to hear when somebody said like a really positive thing.
Oh, absolutely.
So I hear people saying all the time, nobody is spending money on pictures. Yes, they are, because I know what my clients spent this week.
Yeah.
So people are still buying. And I think as much as, yes, it is really hard because people don't have money for this and they might not have money for that, there are still people that want to spend and they are still out there. And actually, if we can help each other find those people and go, this is a really good way to connect with those people because they are there, you've just got to get them.
Yeah.
Because they do exist. You know, people are still going on holiday. People are still going to the cinema. People are still eating out. So yeah, I think just saying it's not all doom and gloom.
I agree.
Even if you've had like the worst day imaginable. Monday, I was ready to give up. I didn't even work on a Monday, and I spent all of Monday working, and I didn't take one single picture. But just knowing that there are still the people out there that are still your clients, and that maybe the way that you find them changes. Just knowing, getting tips from people. And it won't just, it doesn't even have to be, you need to do this and you need to do this. It could just be like, well, this is what I've been doing and it's been working for me. But if it came to a point where people wanted to come to the studio, or I mean, it can still be done here, and I can go, well, actually, this is how I'm doing it. And I'll show you exactly how I do it because I want to help people. I don't have anything to hide in terms of my business. The only thing that I'm not going to do is train people how to take pictures.
And why would you? But I also take on board what you just said earlier on is that we don't celebrate successes.
No.
Somebody asked me quite recently and said, how long has the gallery been running? And I went, since COVID? And I looked, I thought, that's
6 years.
That's 6 years.
2019. Well, it was December 2019. It's sort of,
so we're talking 6 years. And I don't think I've had that moment yet where I've sat down and gone, I did this. Now, I'm not saying I'd done this alone. I didn't. You know, there's been lots of other people that have helped and supported me along the way. The list is endless of the amount of people that I would have to thank. But I still haven't had that moment in business where I've gone, do you know what? I've made it or I've done it. I haven't celebrated those successes. So it could be also an opportunity for us to say, do you know what? I've had a good week this week.
Celebrate the little wins.
Yeah, I've it's been running 6 years. We've been doing this and everything else. And I take it on board what you're saying, Sian.
Actually, that I used AI to make a little to-do list app the other day that's kind of geared towards neurodivergent people, and little wins is on there, and it's nice and bright, and it gives you a little indicator of how far you've come. But I think as British people, we are quite reserved. I know some people who are very braggadocious about what they've done, but then they're trying to sell products. Americans are very different. The American photography groups are really different to the British ones. And I don't know whether the market is completely different there. I think you still have your bargain basement hunters, but then you still have people who will spend. So a few years ago, somebody was like, what's the biggest single sale that you've ever had? And somebody pipes up with something like $125,000 for photo. You've just spent the cost of a house on photos. How do you find those clients? That's what I want to know. And I go to America and sell pictures, but then like you break your leg and then your $125,000 gone anyway. So swings and roundabouts.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys. I think I'll do for today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take it easy.